Okay, this is actually take two. Uh, I recorded 40 minutes of me going over the the new tool, the new tools, but I didn't like it. It felt too long, and no. So I'm doing this again, hopefully more succinctly. So this is going to be a video explaining two new tools I made for you, part of the overall management tool that I have. This specific version is my own version, which is why you're seeing this page populated. But you will have a clean version that I will show you, and this is the one that you will have will have access to. So the first tool is a very short and easy tool, and it's the Targets tab. Um, Here, this is just a way to help you decide where you would like to go based on the hunts, the targets that you have. So these are my current targets, and basically I just populate this table with the names of what I'm looking for, their sleep styles, and where they appear on each island. And based on that, the second table, the summary table, will give me the information where I should probably go if I'm looking for the most amount of targets. Then, for example, in this case, Top Hollow is probably a great option. I'm excluding Greengrass and Greengrass Expert Mode because obviously they have the most, but they're also very diluted. But hey, Top Hollow looks like a very good option. It also breaks down the amount of dozing, snoozing, and slumbering because, as we know, our sleep habits sometimes favor one sleep style over another. So, for example, if I am to look at Cyan Beach, you can see that there are no snoozing uh, targets for me, but there is dozing and slumbering. So if I know that I cannot hit, if I can't hit snoozing properly, so this might also be a great option, or vice versa. Let's say I don't really have a good option here, because everything is mostly balanced. But let's say, okay, Snowdrop Tundra. I have 4 slumbering targets, but let's say I know that I won't be able to get a lot of slumbering during this week because I don't know, my sleep style has been heavily skewed towards slumbering lately, so the odds of me getting more slumbering are low. Then maybe I should avoid Snowdrop if I if I would get upset for not getting slumbering. You get the drift. Also, if for some reason I don't have too many resources, too many biscuits or sleep points, and I know I can't hunt for many things, maybe I would rather go to Lapis this week because it has the least amount of targets, so I won't get too upset if I can't catch everything I see. That kind of stuff. You can always add more, just add another row, either with this or maybe like this. Um, Insert one row below, and you can add another target and it will change the numbers here. Lastly, I added filters here. So because I have a lot of targets, sometimes it's difficult to see what exactly I can hunt for on a specific island. So I can always go, let's say Amber Canyon, and I can turn off the false ones. This will show me the list of Pokemon only on Amber Canyon. So that's a nice way to visualize that. And I can always go back and just reapply this. Now I can see everything. Or if I want to filter by sleep type. Let's say I want to see only the dozing ones. Now, when you use the filters, you can't really rely on the summary table because it will remove some of the lines, but it's fine. It's just for a momentarily visualization of stuff. So just use it as it fits you. And let's move on to the main event, the event shop. I try to make this as holistic as possible, meaning and robust as possible, so it would serve you in the future as well if you decide to use this. I understand that there are other tools as well, but this is just my approach. It doesn't necessarily do everything that other tools may do, and I definitely took some liberties in the sense of approximations because I didn't want to go too deep into situational calculations. Every person has a different account, every person is playing differently and is at a different stage of the game, and I can't really account for that. So I just tried to go with what would probably fit the most. So here is how it works. We have the event shop section. This is where I plan what I want to buy. With the materials, I'm saying materials because the name changes. Sometimes it's down, sometimes it's mains. So materials is the name I'm using. You can see this is where I plan what to buy. And here is the cost and the total cost of everything. Now, before I move on, it's very important to note that every cell that is in gray, you should not touch. This is a cell that uses, has either a specific amount that needs not to be changed, or it has a calculation, a formula behind it. So don't touch it. Now, the cells that you should touch or can touch are the ones that have a blue frame. And it doesn't matter if they have a color or not. Okay, if it has a blue frame, then it is safe to touch. Otherwise, avoid it. There will be one exception, and I will go over it when we get to it. So, the event shop, this is where you plan to buy stuff. You can see how much it costs in total. And if you buy something, let's say I bought the first 2 instances, you will see that this number gets updated and this number gets updated based on how much I spent. Okay, easy peasy. By the way, this is my own personal copy, so you can see this is what I plan to buy. Now let's move over to the bundles shop. So this is a new addition because part of the event is also buying bundles, at least for me, because it's very helpful. They have a lot of good stuff to offer, and they offer more materials, which is one of the main things that interest me. So, here is how it works. The bottom is just information. It's just to give you the information in front of you, what each bundle offers. I had to use abbreviations for simplicity and visually and visual sake. So small bundle, medium, and large, and then the second week, the last chance small, medium, and large bundles. This is what they offer. The bundles shopping cart is what you will get in total, the accumulative things that you will get by buying those things. And the main one is where you actually handle buying the stuff. So, because I have quite a bunch of diamonds that I saved up, and I actually have more than this now, I can afford quite a bunch of bundles, which is great for me. By the way, this number is in gray, as you can see. Where do I input that number, you ask? Well, because this is part of my overall file, if you go to the General Resources tab, you can insert the number here of diamonds, and this will appear here. If for some reason you don't want to use the other tabs, you don't plan to use them, you could technically just change the number here. But once you do it, you basically break whatever formula was here. So take that into account. I think it's worth it to not do it. So, here's what I plan to buy. I actually, I'm gonna do. I'm going strong. I'm going to buy these bundles, which overall will cost me 3,150 diamonds. But this is what I'm getting: quite a lot of biscuits, which is great, and a good camp ticket, some Latias candies, and maybe most importantly, maybe 520 materials. So that's great. Remember that number, or don't, that's fine. Let's move on to the middle section. Tasks or missions. So I broke it down to the first week and second week. This is for your own progress. This is just to, follow your own progress. Once you're done with a mission, you can just mark it, and it will show you here how many materials you got from it. And here for the second week, as a whole, if you complete both weeks, all of the missions on both weeks, you should have 470 materials. The start and end date, I already inserted them for you, but for the future, you will need to update those dates. If you are going to use the good camp ticket, you should mark this. And as you can see, when I tick this on and off, the number below changes. So this is the daily average materials that you should get from a sleep research. This is one of those numbers that I had to basically simplify. There is a calculation, there is a formula behind it, but basically I'm taking into account, my assumption here is that you probably are going to an island where you could get the most amount of strength. So you could get 8 spawns from the first day. This might be too much for some of you, but again, I can't really know. So this is the number. The number is assuming that you will have 8 spawns each day of the week. 9 spawns with the good camp ticket, which is why the number is higher with this. Again, this is just an average. You could get more, you could get less. If you feel that this number is way off, you could break this. You could insert a different number. But again, once you do that, you break the formula, and this will not be taken into account anymore. So just beware of that. Be responsible. Use this responsibly if you decide to change the number here and here, obviously. Okay. So now that we have all of this information, let's look at the bottom at the analysis section. I have sleep research estimate. The sleep research estimate is basically the number that it's basically the overall number that is being calculated from both weeks. Okay? Again, if I mark this off, you can see this going down or up if I mark this on. So this is how many materials I expect to get after 14 days of the event, just from the sleep research. Now, there's also the friend research section. Here I did not go, I didn't bother with an average or a calculation. I just for simplicity's sake, and this number worked for me in the past, I put it at 10. This is a good average, I think. If you have a full list of 50 friends, I think that 10 is a decent number to expect. You'll probably get more sometimes. And so with that, the number below it is how many materials, again, estimation. It's an estimation of how many materials you will get after 2 weeks of the event. If I take these two numbers together, take this off for a moment. If you take these two numbers together, you can see here the current materials estimation. So this number is the most conservative number of materials that I'd expect to get. It only relies on these two numbers plus whatever you actually have. We'll get to that. This is these two numbers, or yeah. Above this one, so this is the current materials estimation. Above it, you can see a much higher number. The potential materials estimation is this number plus these two numbers. So again, I'm assuming that I will finish all of the missions on both weeks. So I add 470 to this, plus whatever I bought, whatever materials I got from bundles. So 470 plus 520, that's 990. Added to this, which is why you see this number. Okay, there are only 3 more cells to talk about. The legendary instances used. So obviously, as you play, you are going to use some legendary instances. Here I also used an average. I went with the 2-star sleep style for the amount of materials you will get from it. I know it's not accurate, but again, this is the best approximation without going in too deep. I didn't have numbers for the odds for each sleep style. So every time you use, it says used, every time you use an instance, a legendary instance, you can just add, and both of these numbers will go up because it was actually done. 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. The more you use, the more you'll get. Now, each day, or however you like, every time every time you get materials or you spend materials, you should most definitely update this cell, current materials. So far, everything was estimations. I could technically say that because I bought these, I have this amount until I spend it. So let's say, for simplicity's sake, that on the first day of the event, we have the first bundles, and I bought the medium one, like here. The medium one does give me 120 materials. So let's say I have 120. This obviously gets updated. This will count the total amount of materials that I accumulated throughout the week. Doesn't matter if I spent some or not. Every time I got some, this number will just go up. This will go up and down based on your spendings and earnings. So based on this, these numbers will also get updated. And this way, you can see how far you are from your goals. Right now, even with my potential estimation, I'm not really here yet. Now, obviously, this is not accurate because I didn't really finish these tasks. But if I did, again, I would get 470 more. 470 more is 590. Okay. 590 is what I have now. This number is now getting closer to the potential. It's still not enough, but we're getting higher. Every time you will use something, every time you will buy something here, let's say I bought 2 Latias instances, you can see how much I spent. And now I have to update this with the amount of materials I have. I bought this, so 160 less is 430. Okay, now this is more accurate. These numbers will wax and wane as the days go by, and they will get more and more accurate. Okay? What's important to remember is as you play, as the days go by, you can make changes here based on your needs and wants and what you actually have. And that's all, basically. That's the whole shebang. I hope this is clear enough. I try to make this as clear and simple as possible to visualize. Again, I know that there are some simplifications here in terms of estimations, but I really try to be the most accommodating and broad without going in too deep into calculations that probably would take me way too long, and I'm not even sure I would do them correctly. So yeah, that is it. I think it's a pretty nifty tool overall. It served me very well during the last event, and I hope you will find it useful too. We have 2 new tools, the targets and the event shop. Let me show you what it looks like for you. So this is a clean event shop tab. As you can see, everything here is clean, zeroed. If you want to insert any diamonds, sorry, almost clean. Don't have anything here. Yeah, so this is what you will see. And we have the targets table. I did actually, in my previous recording, I did add some stuff, but this will be clean for you. So you can insert whatever you like. I will say don't delete rows, especially don't delete rows that coincide with this table because you will just mess up this table. Unfortunately, it's one of the disadvantages of using Google Sheets, but it's fine. Just be careful with what you're doing. And there we go. Now we have this. It's clean. It's clear. You can use this. And if you do decide to use my tool, all I ask is give me a shout out, share with others. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy my content, and like all that jazz. I don't usually mention this, but because this actually takes time and effort, it will be much appreciated. And if you have any suggestions, if you do end up using these tools and you think they can be improved upon, um, respectively, not respectively, respectfully, please feel free to share and tell me how can I improve them, and I will definitely take that into consideration next time I work on this. It's always a work in progress, as time goes by, and if I find myself in need of more things. But that's it. So good luck with the hunts, and yeah, that's all.